Look, this is the best way to put this, okay? The man clearly has an issue. If you remember when he had made his remarks about Peyton Manning during the season, prior to Peyton Manning coming up there to play, returning back to Indianapolis to play the Colts, I said that he looked a bit off.
You did.
And I left it at that. A lot of people at that time looked at me and said, Stephen A., what you trying to say? Because they deferred back to a tweet on October 21st, 2013, when Irsay had tweeted, he has not had a drink in more than 15 years. Well, I think that cat's out the bag, to say the least. Now, clearly the man has an issue, probably needs some help, whether it's alcohol, it's prescription drugs, or whatever the case may be, and God bless him. We certainly don't want any harm to come to him or anybody else, by the way, if he's willing to get behind the wheel while he's inebriated. With that being said, let's not act like this is going to have an effect on the football team. Mr. Irsay does not play. He's the owner, owns 100% of the franchise, estimated to be worth about $1.6 billion, according to Forbes magazine, which ranks like 11th in the NFL. But the bottom line is, he's not Andrew Luck. He's not T.Y. Hilton. He's not Reggie Wayne, or in this case, Hakeem Nicks.
Thank you.
That
was a good pickup for them.
That's right. Good pickup for them. Yeah. He's not these folks. And when you have players and a coach who appears to have just impeccable integrity in Chuck Pagano, I mean, I'm a fan of that man. I like that man. And all of us should be a fan of him with what he has overcome. And it's a tribute to the organization that they have him as a coach. To have the executives that you have in place, to have the coach that you have in place, to have the quality of players that you have in place, and to be in the NFL, people are going to patronize your product. They're coming to watch the football games. They're not going to refrain from watching the football games because the owner got a problem. Because the one thing he's made sure of, and he deserves credit for this, he hasn't made it their problem. Yeah, you lost Peyton Manning. You let him go. But you gave them Andrew Luck. You've given them the last 2 playoff appearances. You've given them a credible team rife with individuals within the organization to root for and to support, because their efforts have shown that they're worthy of it, which isolates him because he is a problem. But he's not a problem for Indianapolis. He's not a problem for the Colts organization or the city. He is a problem for himself, the wife, after 33 years, she filed for divorce. You know, everything's falling apart. So, but you're an owner. What can, they can suspend you, but what is Roger Goodell really going to do? I mean, that's one of his bosses. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So there's really but so much he can do, but I'm not really getting on him. It's a problem, and I want him to address it. But clearly you've had your bouts in the past, and now on top of it all, your wife of 33 years has decided to divorce you. The man's got issues that all of us, to some degree, should be a bit empathetic or sympathetic towards. And my heart goes out to him in that regard. You just can't get behind the wheel of a car if you're inebriated.
Bottom line, I find this to be a very sad story. And I've always liked Jimmy. I think he's basically a good-hearted guy. He used to be a kid to me. When I knew him, he went to SMU when I was working in Dallas. And obviously he took over the team that his father started and built. And he was always a wannabe rock and roller. He's got a lot of famous guitars that he's purchased. And it's almost like he's going down the same road that a lot of 60s rockers unfortunately went down. To your alcohol point, just point of order, I don't know if it's alcohol because they said, the police report said they found multiple prescription drugs discovered in pill bottles. Schedule 4 prescription drugs were not associated with any prescription bottles found in the vehicle. So he faces 4 felony counts. Let's let this play out in court, but I don't know that alcohol is the big issue. All I know is you were dead on when you said, hey, something's up here. We watched the interviews that he did. We see the middle-of-the-night tweet rants that he has launched into several times during the football season. And so, bottom line to Kerry's question, I could see where long-term this could be a positive effect on the franchise because maybe Jim would get his life in better order. He admitted in 2002 he had an addiction to painkillers. Maybe he needs to go through another rehab to get free of those. Mm-hmm. And wouldn't you agree with me in attempting to be the next George Steinbrenner? He was more of a distraction than a help to that franchise often. He often made outrageous statements to try to motivate the team. Remember, he would publicly criticize the team, mostly in tweets, to try to jumpstart it, to light a fire. He's pretty hands-on here. Yet he hired a very strong GM in Ryan Grigson. As you said, he hired a very strong coach in Chuck Pagano. They drafted a high-character, very trustworthy character quarterback, obviously, and the guy you love. And so the pieces are in place for this team to take it to the next step with Akeem Nicks. I think that's, for Andrew Luck, that's a huge signing. That gives him a big-time receiver.
Well, first of all, I appreciate you correcting me because I confused that I know about the pills part, but I confused the alcohol part because I was reading a sentence here with Tom Lewin from the Detroit Lions in 2010 and in the 30-day suspension and $10,000 fine.
Oh, you're thinking of him. Okay.
So I was thinking of him at that moment. So
That's fine.
So I appreciate the correction. But the thing about it is that, again, when you're talking about, and they're saying, I don't believe that he's villainous, that he's malicious, and
I don't either.
I don't think he means any harm. But at the same time, again, he clearly has a problem.